Well, I'll research it on the study show with Scott and Joe.
How about you start this show?
Okay, fine. Hello, Internet. I'm Joe.
I'm Eric.
And I got nothing.
Aw.
At least you're not entering through the magnetic field anymore.
Yeah, you know, finally getting here 30 minutes before the show finally fixed something. Like, most of the time we get here a little early and then we just kind of sit.
I was here 30 minutes before the show. You guys took your sweet time getting here.
Well,
wait a second. My email just pinged. What's in my email? Oh, start at 6. Oh, look, it's 6:02 and I'm the only one.
Well, my buddy Chad was like, hey, bro, could you edit my acting reel? And I was like, yeah, totally, Chad. You're my best friend, and I like you more than anybody else.
So wait, so are you editing acting reels professionally now? Is it like taken off for you, Riker?
No.
Acting reels?
No, it just my buddy Majid, who I'm on an improv team with, asked me to do it, and I did it, and I've been like working with him, and it's been going, and I was like, oh, this is fucking easy. I should do this more often. And then my buddy Daisy, who is on my team, said,
hey, what are you like the guy from Pawn Stars? You got all these buddies?
Yeah, let me contact him. No, Daisy, who's also on my team, was her boyfriend Chad, who was a friend of mine, was like, well, he's having trouble with his reel. And at first, like when she mentioned it last night, I thought like he needed help like ripping stuff off YouTube, and I was like, yeah, I do that shit all the time. That's easy. And then he emailed me. He's like, hey, you want to just do this? I was like, yeah, sure. So. We have compensation, but I'm probably not going to charge it. If I charge him, it won't be much at all because what he's having me do is really, really fucking simple, even for.
No, dude, you have to charge for this stuff. Don't devalue your work.
I'm not saying I'm not going to put value in my work. I'm just saying like it's even less than I did with my buddy Majid. Like I would like to pitch to him to do a little more on his reel than he's having me do, but
there's a thing that you gotta live by when you're doing small time stuff, and it's fuck you, pay me. Even if they're friends, you gotta get, because if you're just doing it, if you're doing it a non-paid thing, and I'm telling you this from experience, if you do non-paid support or non-paid creative work, it's unintended, but things tend to get taken advantage of. They're like, oh, well, he's my friend, he can keep making this one change. But like when I'm paying for something, then it's like, okay, I'm giving this person $50. I expect $50 of work back, whatever that is. You know, however many hours that is. You got to set the boundaries, otherwise you'll get. Other than you turn into a charity case for business, and that's not a good way.
And I certainly that's something that's crossed my mind. But there's this whole thing of like, I don't know what I should be charging, and I don't know what my
Okay, let me just Google that for you real quick. How much should a person charge for this? Like, just look up the rate, and since you're a kind of you don't have much overhead, do 2/3 of the going rate, and you'll be good.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. I got a couple of buddies who edit. Actually have. Some are freelance. I know a girl who does it. I think it's pretty much her job. She did it for BuzzFeed for a while. Does it for some other internet website. I was going to ask them, hey, what do you charge for like an acting reel and stuff like that? And I'll do half of that. I'll undercut them.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't even do half of that, and I would do just slightly less, because you don't want to be the lowest bid, because nobody picks the lowest bid. People that pick the lowest bid are the worst clients. You never want that client. You want the guy that's going to pick like second or third from the bottom, because they're value oriented and they probably have boundaries. But yeah, like I've been the cheap guy before. You don't want to be the bottom of the market, because you only get the worst. You only get the clients that won't be served by any of the other people. Like, you need a guy below you to handle the bottom of the bucket. Don't be bottom of the bucket guy. I'm telling it took me far too long to realize that. And if you're dealing with friends or family, like actual friends or family, don't, like, you could take my money all day, whatever. But like I'm saying, if you're dealing with actual friends and family, just don't charge them. Say, this is what I'm doing, outline it just like you're gonna charge them, and then
if you tell them, if somebody asks you who did it, then you tell them, well, this guy, I know he charges $35 for it.
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
I know I'm lowball, but that way they get the service. You don't feel weird about it, and then they can tell other people, and you get marketing done that way, and they know what to expect.
And word of mouth is the most powerful way of marketing. It's way better than a Facebook share. Although those are helpful too. Hey, if you are on Facebook, you should share the show, give it a like. We always hover around like 500 likes. Like, I think every week we like lose one and then like gain one, so we're always around 500. So go over to facebook.com/justcoolenough, give us a like, and if you're listening live right now, which I know a few of you are, jump in the live chat room, justcoolenough.com/live. We do the show every week at 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific. Come in the live chat room. Say hi to Brady. He's an all-star listener. He donates to the show. He's basically a fourth host because he gives us so much content. In fact, if you want to give us content, you can email the show at justcoolenough.com. Again, the email address is theshow@justcoolenough.com. Send us your thoughts about what's on your mind. We really haven't done any good advice sections lately. I want to give out some great advice. I'm feeling knowledgeable. So yeah, that was kind of the spiel. We're real top heavy though this episode. Why don't we get into some like how was your weeks kind of things?
What? Sorry, I'm watching an Instagram video of someone I know eating fries in her car.
Oh, so that's the kind of week you're having. What about you, Ike?
I think my lower third turned itself off, and now when I turn it on, it doesn't come back.
Well, there you go. More technical
That's the kind
difficulty.
of week. No, the epitome of my week was I signed up for months ago for a virtual 5K where you do it through your phone. You track how far you. 5K? Yeah, it's this really cool app. I think I've talked about it before.
Played entirely in Arc Dino D-Day.
It's called Zombies Run.
Oh yeah.
And it's the one where it's like part story, so you're out running, listening to kind of a story, but it pipes in your own music, and then you collect stuff as you're out running, so you can feed your town and grow it during the zombie apocalypse. But they also do this virtual 5K. They started it last year. I didn't try it then, but I tried it this year. You pay them, and basically it tracks your GPS through your phone, and then ships off your time into the ether to be put against other people. So I'm like, oh, I'm pretty sure I had like Tuesday to run was the last day. I have done no training. Like my idea was like, hey, I'll pay $50. This is like November. I'm like, I'll start running. Yeah. And then like I'm like, oh God, just keep eating pizza. And then then Monday I'm like, oh man, we had like just fit enough that night. And I'm like, oh fuck, I gotta go do that. And then Tuesday, I'm like, I'll run it Tuesday. And then Amanda's parents like, come, we have dinner. So I canceled just fit enough. And then I'm like, wait a second.
You know it's bad.
I checked my email. I was like, no, today, Monday is the last day to run this thing. And like, I just scarfed down like a like 4 Twix and like a soda. And so like, okay, so I get home. My girlfriend's parents' house is all like 2.7 miles away from my house. So she's like, yeah, just like run here. I'm like, yeah, perfect idea. So,
but a 5K is 3.5 miles.
I know. So I'm like, I know I'm gonna have to tack on a little bit extra on the back end, but I can run around the block near her parents' house a few times. So I get all my stuff on, and I start going over there. And I'm actually feeling pretty good. I mean, they say a good place to be at, it's like a 10-minute mile. And I was pulling, by the time I was done, I reviewed it, I was doing like 13-minute mile, 14-minute mile, which I'd say is not very bad since I haven't really run since last summer.
I'll tell you what, I've been running avidly, and that's where I'm at, you asshole. So, naturally tall piece of shit.
So, of course, I'm trying to run over to her parents' house to have dinner. And so I have a backpack on my back with my extra clothes, and I get over there, and I'm like, I get to her parents' house, 2.7 miles. I'm like, okay. Well, actually, I was at 2.3. I'm like, okay, I'm almost there. I'm at the top of her parents' street, but I'm like, I'll run the block a few times. And Amanda calls. She's like, hey, where are you? I'm like, top of the street. Be there soon. She's like, okay. Hangs up. When she called me, the app paused.
Oh!
So I ran another 0.3 of a mile with no credit. So I had to switch it back on and run around the block another 3 times to get the rest of the run in. And then she's like, well, we're already starting dinner. I'm like, I would have been there, but I fucking got a phone call. So I finally got there, but I'm like, I was hurting, sat down, ate, and then that night something came up, and I only ended up getting about 4 hours of sleep. So I was about ready to fall over. It was like I was drunk on Tuesday. Drunk, like wandering around. Well, no, I'm wandering around. Everything hurts. I had like 4 hours of sleep. I felt like I was like staggering around. and we have no subs at my school because of the point we're in the air. So I'm like, I think I might leave today. And they're like, well, we don't really have any subs, but we could try to pull teachers from like their prep time. I'm like, well, I feel like an asshole. So
yeah,
I'm like, you know what?
like, hey, Miss Robinson, you don't get a break because Ike's a bitch.
So I stuck in there. I stuck out the day. I popped some ibuprofen so I couldn't feel anything, and I rode out the rest of the day.
Nice.
On prescription drugs.
I feel like calling him a bitch is mean. I think you would say, hey, Miss Robinson, you don't get a break today because Mr. Dodge is a fat little turd who can't handle running around a block a couple of times without passing out.
It's true. It's true.
Hey, I feel you. I mean, yeah.
So
that badass art teacher can't handle another period of art class. I know you're teaching real things that the kids will use in their lives, but this art teacher is kind of tired.
Oh my gosh, that is mean, Eric. Like, you're like cutting so deep right now. What's wrong with you?
I'm just saying, like,
because I was short with him before the show.
Were you? What did you say? What did you say to Eric?
No, it's all right.
He knows what he did.
Wow.
But I sat there and glared at Eric apparently in the darkness.
Well, it was funny because you left. And because of the way Google Hangout works, it's whoever the last person talked is up there, and you never see your own thing up there. So I was alt tabbing back and forth, and every time I'd come back, his lights were off, and it was just him staring at the screen. I'm like, what the fuck are you staring at? It's just Ike sitting there in the dark staring at me.
Why is he
So on the upshot though, for other content for other shows, since we do Just Fit Enough, not only we're going to have a guest this week that we'll be recording for, but starting this Sunday, Joe. I know you're already kind of into the swing of things.
Okay.
But this Sunday for 24 days, you and I are cracking down straight.
Okay, we're gonna do a sprint here. Is that what we're doing? A diet sprint? Are you calling me out?
No, because here's the deal. You're being the control group, and I'm being the we're testing it because I'm skeptical group. But I'm going to do my best to make sure that I stay on test. I got Advocare from one of our previous guests.
So this episode hasn't been released yet. So maybe we need to.
No, well, it's a spoiler. No, it's a go check it out. But anyway, one of our guests came on and offered this diet plan. I said I would. I'm very skeptical, so I took it up.
So we're gonna
start on Sunday.
Okay, I'm gonna have to reweigh myself because and we'll do it. Okay, fine. We're gonna just do what your Advocare. Maybe this works. Maybe it doesn't. Crash diet versus a control group of me just watching what I eat
and just kind of doing it. Like I expect we'll both be exercising. We'll both be trying to eat right. But I'm gonna use this as I want to see if I do everything the way I should do, how it will be after 24 days, and I figure maybe it'll spurn you on
maybe I'll do so good that I'll make a Joe Cariotti diet.
Then when we're both done, we still won't be as skinny as Eric.
Eric's looking good. I saw him in the flesh. He's looking like a good guy.
I still don't figure out how you keep it off, Eric. That's the problem.
Doesn't make you happy. Doesn't make you happy.
It doesn't make you happy? What do you mean?
And honestly, when you ask me how do I keep it off, the question is I don't think I do. I think I wake up every morning, like when I'm taking a shower, I take my shirt off and go, God, I've let myself go. I fucking need to do something about this. Like, I'm fucking the worst. I imagine at some point, like, if I were to ever be like Chris Pratt, Guardians of the Galaxy, shirt off, ripped, I would still look in the mirror and go, what the fuck is your deal, man? Like, fuck you. Like, there's this this guy I know who's Daniel Mills, who I try and follow all my friends on Instagram, but I don't want to follow him because all of his Instagrams are shirtless photos of him at the gym, and so that's kind of weird to have in my feed all the time. And B, it's also super intimidating because he's the most handsome man I will ever know in real life. Like, he works out all the time. He's that guy. He's like, it's like not fair. He's like super nice, and he's incredibly shredded.
So before we move on to your week, one of you, probably Joe, the tail end of it, though, that was the epitome, was the running, passing out, dying, kind of the two highlights. I saw Zootopia, which was pretty good, and I also saw Hardcore Henry.
Oh, I want to see Hardcore Henry. That sounds pretty good.
Go like you're going to go see Snakes on a Plane.
Oh,
No, it's
okay.
like it's not bad. It's just like if you know it's like a video game and you look for all the video game tropes, you'll be perfectly happy with it.
Well,
And
yeah, that's what I'm going for. I
but
don't think.
if it weren't done in first person, the movie would be absolute shit.
Yeah, from what I hear, it has almost no plot. It's all just action porn. Which, if you know that's what you want when you go to it,
It's perfect.
It's entertaining.
Yeah, you got to be in the mood for that. It's a popcorn flick. I heard that on a show one time. Like, this is a popcorn. They were talking about Jurassic Park. They're calling movies popcorn flicks, where it's just fun to go eat some popcorn and watch an okay movie that has some explosions in it, or dinosaurs, or what have you.
That's why there's $1.5 billion Transformers movies.
But I don't like the Transformers. I haven't liked any of the Transformers movie, and I think I've only saw the first two, and I'm like, well, if this is the way things are going, I am out.
Well, apparently enough people liked it that they feel compelled to continue to make more of them.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of like, I haven't watched any of the Fast and the Furious since like the first or second one.
Don't you talk about my Fast and Furious. Those
but that's the thing. Like, I want to. That's a different movie, Eric. Eric, how was your week? What were you up to?
I mean, some interesting stuff. The Nerdist School did their big annual assembly where they do 12 hours of shows and shit, and it was really awesome. But part of that is they've been usually there's all these plans to improve the theater and do a lot of improvements on the theater, but they always wait until right before the assembly to do all this shit. So the 2 days before the assembly, I was over there doing construction, which felt like I felt very manly, building stuff, and I did some painting, but I did a lot of like cutting boards with a saw, and then this one guy, Colin, who's he's a set builder as a profession, had his nail gun, so I was nail gunning things and stuff, and I felt very, very manly. It's funny, I was like, I don't know if they're gonna have tools, so I brought I've got this little case of
little Tykes tool set.
No, I mean,
I haven't used these in years.
I did get them at JCPenney's when they came free with pants, but it's got like 5 screwdrivers, a hammer, a couple of a decent set of socket wrench stuff, and it's called a home improvement kit. It's like anything you would probably need to do in your home. It's got that. And then we had to buy a new drill because our drill finally just started to kick the bucket. And I just got this tiny little Black & Decker one that's got an internal battery that's got powered by USB. And I brought that because I thought I'll use that. And then of course Colin, being a construction worker for profession, has a bunch of shit and a staple gun and one of those this couple of different circular saws, power drills. He's got I was really happy he had one of the drills he had was an impact drill.
Oh, cool! Great. Those are awesome.
I never got to use one of those before, but yeah.
But so even being around every time the impact happens, an impact drill, you're just like, yeah. Oh, that's a cool. That makes me want a home improvement, like Tim Allen character, like that, all that kind of stuff. I like that.
So I got to do a lot of construction and we got the theater looking nice, and then I did the festival, which was fun. I hung out, did some shows, ate some stuff from food trucks, which is great.
You did some manly stuff. You construction work, then you ate some stuff from a food truck.
Yeah,
Did you catcall any women? Where you're like, hey, toots, why don't you walk over here and I'll impact wrench you or something? I don't know how to catcall, right? Just leave me alone.
No, I don't. I'm too much of a coward, and also aware of the plights of women to do shit like that. But Monday night, our D&D group was interesting because our sort of 2 GMs, one of them has had hard times making it to the other one to the nights, and the other, Sean, was out of town for a family emergency. So we didn't really have anything planned, and I was like, well, there's this thing that I've been wanting to do. I bought this RPG called Goblin Quest, and the idea is it's for kind of a group of 5-ish people, and you have everyone controls a group of goblins, and you're trying to complete a task, and they die very quickly, and that's sort of the fun of it. Is I think on Reddit I saw one of the titles about it is like our quest was to make an omelet and 16 goblins died in the process. Like that kind of stuff. Which I thought would be fun, and the actual book comes with a bunch of different like variant rules, and so I played what they call space interns, which is basically red shirts. So I ran this sort of very heavily improvised game of everyone controlling a group of like Star Trek red shirts on like a planet, and just constantly dying in all kinds of horrible ways. Like the first person to die was one of the science interns who the girl said, she's 12, but she's bright for her age, and of course she get acid in the face and her head disintegrated, and that was the first death. And it was stupid and fun. And if you're looking for something kind of a one-off high death kind of stupid game you can play with your friends, I definitely would suggest going with Goblin Quest. We didn't play it, but the best rule set you can have is they have a variant called Sean Bean Quest, where you are all various Sean Beans from the actor Sean Bean, and your goal is to survive the end of your movie without dying, as Sean Bean is so often to do.
That sounds like an incredibly good time.
Yeah, so it was fun. It was nice because normally our games are really big, but this was a much smaller game, so we actually had kind of fun. Also, I'll plug it later. The sort of Dungeons and Dragons-esque stream that I'm starting up starts Saturday. We didn't get a chance; we had to postpone it. But yeah, Saturday I'll be streaming some D&D. Well, not D&D, Dungeon World, but basically D&D.
Make sure you post that to Facebook so the people know where to find you and put it on the site too. Yeah, please.
I will promote it.
It's cool stuff. I want to pay attention to it too. I mean, I probably won't, but I want to. And that's like right now, the Red Wings are playing, and I want to know what's going on, but I'm not going to check it out.
And I will say, like, it's funny because this year's Nerdist Assembly, like last year I went, I performed, I think I left for a little bit, came back. There's absolutely no visual evidence that I was actually at it last year. This year, a lot of photos of me there. So there's a lot of photos of me actually there. So there's physical proof that I actually attended this year. Actually, no, there's one photo of me last year, which was taken outside the theater, and you can't tell. It was because it was the first performance of that improv group, and I was in that photo. But that's the only photo from last year is these two photos of our group that aren't even, like, they're in front of Meltdown Comics, so you can't even quite tell that this is a photo from the assembly. But this year, lots of photos. There's photos of me performing, photos of me in the green room, photos of me outside, photos of me in the photo booth.
Good.
So,
yeah.
I'm happy about that.
I like them on Facebook.
Definitely look like I attended this year.
As opposed to last year where you just...
Yeah. It's photoshopped. It's really photoshopped.
Well, Eric sent me this really great Photoshop for my wall.
Yeah, Joe had me Photoshop. I guess he took a big group photo during his wedding of all his buddies, but I wasn't there.
Ike was even in it.
Yeah, Ike was there, and he was like, I wanted this photo of all my buddies, and you're one of my good buddies, and you're not in this photo. Put yourself in this photo. So I did an all right job.
I think you're pretty good. I know.
I feel like the color's off. I could have spent a little more time. But yeah, I photoshopped myself into this group shot. I actually took a photo. Like, I noticed everybody was dressed up nice, so I put on my nice shirt and I took a photo of myself, like reacting to what was happening. So yeah, you can find it.
Photo.
I think it's on Joe's his on his Facebook page. It's the cover photo, I think.
Need to be a little more orange.
Yeah, the lighting's a little.
Yeah, it's a little orangey.
I'll
put
it up here.
I mean, I know you're a pale guy.
Yeah.
It works, especially once the resolution gets kicked down to Facebook resolutions. It works well enough. Here, I'll throw it up on the. I'll throw it up.
I'm still trying to figure out what's going on the right hand of that photo.
What? Oh yeah. See, there's a person here and a person here. So, so for on the radio side of things, if you go camera, is it camera right? Is that what this would be?
I guess camera right. Yeah.
To the right of me in this photo, it really, there's no other way to put it. It looks like my dear friend Atish is being penetrated by my cousin
Now-
Joe, who's
Now it's even better because if you zoom out to the one that Eric, the whole shot, you actually get this nice where Atish has his hand down by his left hand butt cheek.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's I can't figure out what we were doing in this photo. It's facebook.com/JoeQCar if you want to take a look at it, or you could be watching the live stream right now and you could be seeing it or watching it on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. But yeah, wow, it turned out great, and you can see Eric here, who he photoshopped himself in, and like I said, there's just a little bit more orange. It would have been perfect, but
It's
I
hard
think
matching
still,
light. It's not easy.
I like it like this though. I really do.
Yeah.
I'm a fan because you can tell it's like that's kind of photoshopped, right? And it's like yeah, it was. But if you look over here, my profile picture, that's another work of Eric Reichert.
Yeah.
And I just remembered that, so that's
I
great too.
photoshopped that photo as well.
My whole profile is full of works of Eric Reichert. Anyway, so I'll get
Next
off.
thing you'll be having me Photoshop a resume or some shit.
Yeah, like some kind of idiot. Maybe it could be a paid job. Fuck you, pay me. Remember that saying.
Yeah.
Don't do anything for free. Just make sure people pay you for your work. You're
But
worth it.
you're an artist. I mean that's what you do.
You don't have to be a starving artist.
But all your friends think you do.
Yeah, but you're paying me an exposure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll just cash exposure in over at the bank of exposure, and then buy a couple exposure bonds, and then I'll just retire on that. And
Be
if any
careful
health
when
stuff
you tell someone to pay you an exposure, because they might misunderstand what you're asking for and flash you their genitals.
Oh, is
Hey,
that why I was arrested 3 weeks ago?
I thought that was part of the contract, Eric. You should have read the contract. Yeah. This is so. I wanted to talk about a thing that the novelty of being an adult, and some of the things you think is going to be awesome just turned into like sad rituals, like eating leftover pizza or something like that. You're just like, well, I don't feel like going out. Like there's sometimes where leftover pizza is the best, right?
For dinner. I mean, come on. There's a flip side to it.
This is what I'm saying. So I'm kind of starting at the sad parts because there's times when leftover pizza is like the worst thing ever, and then there's other times where you're like, oh yes, I am so happy, because there could be two things, like I don't want to go out. Let's just this pizza's in the fridge, or it's like yes, leftover pizza. I don't have to go out and I can stay in. Yeah, or the ability to create an excuse. You're just like, you don't have to have a reason to do somebody invites me on a trip and I'm like, yeah, okay, but I just don't want to do that.
Yeah,
And
there was
Are
actually.
you suggesting that as a kid you can't?
well, yeah, as a kid you just
Feel peer pressured? Like, hey, listen, Bobby and I are going out. You should come with us. Like,
well, no, like if your mom and dad are there, or you're concerned about what other people think, that's another thing. I went straight past. I like blew past my 40s and 50s. I'm right into like mid 60s as far as brain age goes here, because I totally stopped giving a crap about what other people think.
There's actually, I saw this morning a very concise Twitter that was retweeted by our listener Blondie from somebody named Booze the Impaler, and it's like, me when I was 8. When I'm 24, I'm going to be rich, famous. Me at 24. Fill water to line and microwave noodles on high for 3 minutes.
But yeah, like me at 24, I'm like, oh, I still care what people think. Me at 29, it's just really, it's all for me now, right? But the novel, but what I wanted to get at was the great things about being an adult and not having to answer to anybody.
Yeah, I've said this before. Like a couple months ago, I played laser tag, and it wasn't Jimmy from across the street's birthday. No, I just decided to play fucking laser tag. A bunch of people I know were like, we're gonna go play laser tag. What's the occasion? We want to play laser tag. Yeah, then let's go play laser tag.
Well, that's the other thing. Like I was thinking, I'm like, I really I want to do a really big get together, and for no reason. I want to rent out a hall and just have one of those corny kind of graduation parties, and just make up a reason and invite people for no reason, really, just to kind of have to schedule time to hang out. That's the downfall of being an adult. You have to schedule times to do things.
Yeah,
that's a downfall of being an adult with too much shit on your plate.
What do you mean?
Yeah, I don't think Eric and I have that problem. Like, Eric can choose because he has probably quite enough free time where he's filling it, but it's not like you have all the jobs in the world, so you have no time on your plate.
Yeah, but I enjoy
it. Playing video games, and I can go out and socialize whenever I want.
And all Joe's friends are like him and are business people or people who have jobs and stuff like that.
That's not true. You guys are my friends.
I mean, yeah, but you can't hang out with us like that. I mean, whereas like all my friends are like fucking actors with day jobs or like part-time jobs or like we were my improv group couldn't practice last night, so we decided to just hang out and we played Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes for like 3 hours.
That's a cool game. But yeah, like I take my hangout really seriously. Like I work hard, I play harder, kind of thing. You're right, Ike. I do. Like, remember the one time one of our dear listeners, Wolf, he came in our Discord chat and he had a crappy mic, and I kind of went off on him a little bit.
You go off on people with bad audio sounds?
Yeah, I do. I can't.
I used to make fun of people who do that, like in the WoW Radio events, when like somebody would talk and then like their mic would peak a little, and someone would go, "Oh, your mic's peaking." I was like, "Yeah, your mic's peaking. You fucking asshole! Get the fuck out of here! How dare you have not the optimum quality when we're sitting around playing World of Warcraft? Listen, you little shit. You better not come here until you buy at least a USB 3.0 microphone and learn to fucking level your shit. Get some AEQ up there. You piece of garbage."
Well, and that's the problem. Like my playtime is sanctioned. Like I look at it and I'm like, these are 3 hours where I'm not gonna think about anything, and then I'm just gonna go to bed and it's gonna be wonderful. And so I expect peak fun. Like that's what I need. Peak fun, maximum fun time.
I have a bad night.
Yeah. I need it, all right? Like, I don't have time to mess around with crappy mic quality or players who aren't ready. Like, I'll just dump you behind at this point. Like, I used to be, like, supportive guy, like, oh, no, let's all just wait into the game, and we're going to get to, oh, you didn't download the latest patch, and that's going to take you 45 minutes? Well, I'm out. Like, good luck, catch up later, because this is happening. I don't have time for people that are like, play harder.
One of my students the other day was like, "Oh man, being an adult, I'm not looking forward to that." I'm like, "What are you talking about? I can eat ice cream for dinner, and who's gonna say anything about it? No one."
Right.
And like, I was actually out with Ryle when we went and saw Hardcore Henry, and afterwards we sat in like a burger joint. And he's like, "I'll have the ice cream cake for dinner," and they're like, "Brought this like huge piece, it's like as big as my head." And I'm like, "You know what? You can adult. You know who's gonna judge it? No one."
Nobody.
Shit. Like, you can do what you want. I'm like, that's a great thing. One of my kids like, yeah, but that means you get diabetes. I'm like, but ice cream. They're like, yeah, but diabetes. I'm like, ice cream. No,
stop poisoning the children. Like everything in moderation. You can only have an ice cream cake, a full ice cream cake in moderation. Once or twice a week, and then like as long as you're enjoying it in moderation, you're gonna be fine. Like that's what you split all the bad foods up. 3 times a week hamburgers, 3 times a week pizza. That's 6 days right there. All right, so that's breakfast and lunch, and then you just throw in a couple ice cream cakes. You split it up,
and then you just go run every so often, so you can balance it out.
Right? Yeah, you got to do a lot of running. It's very important.
One of those exercise machines from like the '60s, the one that's it's that leather band that wraps around your stomach and like just like shakes you like.
What is like that was like the Bun Master or something?
I don't know.
They basically they took a imported Korean engine and then just like it was like a gas powered engine.
Yeah,
that you use in your house, a 2-cycle.
It's a scooter engine, and you wrap the engine belt around your waist, and then.
Hey Jimmy, I know you think I'm a car mechanic, but I found this fan belt and I hooked it up to this Japanese motor and attach it to the wall. Look what it does! It's like I'm losing weight.
You're just running the engine in your house without an exhaust. You don't have to be smoking at the same time.
That was stupid. See, now we're smarter. Now we just attach electrodes to our stomach and electrocute ourselves just a little bit for a sustained amount of times.
Right, yeah.
I can't be bothered to stand up while I exercise to get jiggled. I have to sit on my couch and just electrocute myself.
Gently. It's not. It's the amperage will kill you. You could do plenty of volts.
Yeah, voltage is not the problem. It's the amps.
Yeah, watch out for those. Oh, the chat room bringing it back right now. It's called the Thigh Master. Thank you, Hawk, in the chat room.
No, it's not.
The blue thing that you push together with your legs.
Oh yeah, that was what was that? The Susan
we're
Crawford
talking
thing.
about like the old thing from like the
Susan-
60s or 50s that you wrap around. It's like a fan belt.
I know what you're gonna say, Eric. Susan Crawford. That was Cindy Crawford's little sister. So don't
That was
worry.
Laura
No,
Croft.
it was Susan Summers. She was the mom on Step by Step.
Day by day,
Day by day.
we'll make time around. Oh man, that was the
That's
end
the
of
wrong
Full
one.
House, right?
Yeah, I don't care.
Oh, okay.
It's all garbage.
It's like garbage food. Like it's
Fuller
terrible,
House.
but you eat it. Yeah. So I don't remember what else I wanted to talk about. There it is. Novelty of being an adult. That's great. The other thing that I saw this week that was kind of interesting was somebody found a Easter egg in the Mike Tyson Punch Out. You know
Did
Punch
they
Out.
know? I mean, I watched that video, and for me, like an Easter egg would be like, oh, did you know if you punch this guy, Mario said,
Well, hold on.
Luigi's mustache is fake, but no, it's like it doesn't. The Easter
It's
egg.
not an Easter egg. Okay, it's a secret or a
secret.
tell.
It's a tell. Basically, there's a boss in the original Punch Out that if you punch him at the exact moment, you can one hit knock him out. And then he discovered there's like a dude in the crowd that is like the tell to when it's the exact moment.
Right.
Besides all the other tells that there are. That's not an Easter. An Easter egg is if you look right before he does it, Yoshi takes a dump. Like that's an Easter egg. Like
It's not good enough for you. That's what you're trying to say.
No.
Well, I'm saying like the thing is so you have Punch Out, right? The game NES game Punch Out, Mike Tyson's Punch Out, and you have a crowd behind you. And this guy with a beard just ever so slightly like ducks down at the perfect moment when you're fighting some guy, right? Like in the game. But the thing is, okay, they called it an Easter egg, whatever, semantics. I'm saying that it's really cool that you see this dude find something that hasn't been published before, because you just think these games have been played so many times, and the books have been made about it, and I just think it's so interesting that after all these years, because Punch Out came out so long ago, it's like 30 years old. And we've been playing this game for that long, and people have been trying to find the best way to do it for so long. I think it's great. I think it's great that somebody took the time and found like this dumb little what are we gonna find in Spyro the Dragon or Crash Bandicoot or I'm just excited. It kind of reminds me like, oh wow, there's a big world out there. There's a big world out there, and it's even in the.
It makes me feel just small. The universe is so big. There's so many Easter eggs in Mike Tyson Punch Out. I feel like I'm so small, yet so connected to the universe.
Right? Like, okay, and that's the experience I had. I'm like, wow, this little dumb game from all these years ago. I felt inspired by watching this video. I'm like, this guy just happened to notice this thing that's totally undocumented. Imagine all the other shit we're missing. Like, there's so much out there. I had a sense of wonderment. So don't shit on my wonderment, Eric.
I mean, I'll do whatever the fuck I feel like.
Do you not feel the same way, Ike? Because you just feel like, oh, okay, whatever, he found a secret.
I mean, sometimes like, oh, I wish it had been me, but then when somebody finds it, I'm like, yeah, whatever, I don't give a shit.
I mean, I don't mean to knock this guy's achievement. I don't want to sound like one of those asses who's like why is he spending all the time doing this when he should be curing cats or whatever.
Yeah,
that
right.
Guy, but I just like don't call it. I don't like that people are calling it Easter egg. I don't think he was the one who called it an Easter egg.
No, it's not an Easter egg. It's just like.
Yeah, he calls it an Easter egg. Fuck this guy and his face. He calls it Easter egg / secret. No, just say secret. It's not an Easter egg, it's a secret. An Easter egg is...
You don't know if it's an Easter egg. Maybe every time this guy, the developer's uncle watched a fight...
He's got two videos, and one he calls it a secret cue, and another one, which makes sense, but it's not an Easter egg. An Easter egg would be like like
Yeah,
if
like
you
they
click-
carved their if you squint, like you can
you-
see the developer's name in somebody's eyes or something.
Yeah, an Easter egg is like in whatever Psychonauts, when it's like if you like scroll the camera out and turn it at this right moment, you look through a building and you see a Photoshop of like the developers going like, "Hey, thanks for finding this secret." That's an Easter egg.
Right.
It's like the Easter egg, like when you're standing in the middle of Orgrimmar in World of Warcraft, you look at the wall and you can see a giant dick. That's like an Easter egg.
That's an
But I mean, if
or
they
when
put
you
it in
look
there on
at-
purpose.
When you look at 3 of the towers on the Little Mermaid box art,
That's just dicks,
That's-
guys. That's 2 examples of dicks.
that's an Easter egg.
That's penises.
But saying like, oh, I discovered this.
Those aren't Easter eggs.
When you're playing the Water Temple, when you hit the guy when he's asleep, he does damage to the boss. That's not an Easter egg. That's a tell.
Okay, you're right. No, I get you. I'm with you. Calling it an Easter egg is dumb because that's wrong. An Easter egg is something the developers are putting in that you're meant to find, and it's supposed to be like a nod to the game or developers or lore or something.
Yeah.
But this isn't an Easter egg unless his
If you-
uncle.
if you
This
hit
is a
on-
nod. If this is an Easter egg, maybe somebody he knows always ducks when a guy punches at a certain. I don't know. It's a stretch.
No, an Easter egg would be like if you did it at this one exact moment, and then somebody stands up and says Han Solo shot first or something like that. That's an Easter egg.
Okay, fine.
If you have the original Lord of the Rings like collector's editions, you can go on there and as you're highlighting right on the main screen for like title menu whatever, you can find some Easter eggs where there's some like graphics on there that you can find and highlight, and they will actually take you to some like behind the scenes shit. Those would be Easter eggs because you have to go looking for them. They're there.
Have you guys ever found an Easter egg in a game like on accident without having to look online for it?
Probably. I don't remember.
So it wasn't
Nothing
important.
that stands out. Yeah.
There was like levels in Counter-Strike that I shot in a certain place or stood in a certain place and got into a room on accident, and I thought that was cool. But
I mean, I find myself
Then
doing
Easter
it
egg
more.
glitch.
I do it more now with like modern video games because they're so lazy with Easter eggs. But like you'll like be playing a game like fucking Tomb Raider, for example, and like you'll crawl through a hole. Like you'll go to a hole and watch the animation where you crawl through a hole, and Lara Croft will land, and you'll be pointing at a direction, and you're like, oh, I should go to this direction. But you decide to turn around and there's something there. Like the original Doom, when you start up Doom 2, you would start on this platform and then you jump off and go fight all the monsters. But if you turn around, you can get the chainsaw, but they don't telegraph that. Like I've done that kind of stuff, but nothing crazy.
But that's not an Easter egg. That's a secret. The chainsaw is not an Easter egg.
I know.
You just spent 15 minutes doing a fucking dissertation on it, and now you're conflating Easter eggs and secrets.
I didn't say it was. I said that's the kind of stuff I do. All
right. So an Easter egg, according to was some dictionary online, it's an unexpected or undocumented feature in a piece of computer software on a DVD, included as a joke or bonus. So basically, anytime Blizzard has a glitch in their game, which is a feature, it's an Easter egg.
Well, that's a pretty broad definition, but I think the key words there are joke or bonus. Because in that definition, I guess the chainsaw could be a bonus.
Nah, I mean, I think a little bit. I mean, it's a secret.
But isn't the chainsaw? If you press the number 1 on the keyboard, isn't the chainsaw like there's an item slot for it in Doom? It's not like. Yeah,
but you have to find it. You have to find it. It's not really an Easter. I didn't say it was an Easter egg. I said that's kind of stuff. An Easter egg.
Can we roll back the show and get the soundbite where he called it an Easter egg?
I didn't call it an Easter egg, and I will.
It's euphemism.
An Easter egg would be like you turn the corner. Like if you turn the corner this way and chainsaw this wall, it turns into a rubber chicken. That's an Easter egg.
I guess the listeners should tell us what an Easter egg is. Have you guys ever found an Easter egg in a game, or what are your favorites? Send it in, theshow@justcoolenough.com. That's our email address. Or, you can also connect with us on social media. Go over to our Facebook page, facebook.com/justcoolenough. And if you do that, you can give us a like.
I actually do have, but I don't know if it's an Easter egg, so I'll let you guys be the judge. My favorite, I guess I'll call it an Easter egg, is...
the judge.
That's my life. I'm used to it. In World of Warcraft, I found there was a vendor you can talk to in Feralis who would warp you up to the top of this pillar, and on top of the pillar you could buy a parachute. You could jump off the edge and parachute down.
Yep.
But you have to find the vendor. They're in a very specific kind of off-the-path location, and you talk to them. They teleport you up to this place where you can find the other vendor to buy the parachute. And I parachuted for like 4 hours one night. But would that be considered an Easter egg? Because it's not like a vendor you're just going to go out of your way to find, and nothing. It's there hidden in the grass and off to the side.
I mean, it's not really a joke. It's kind
Why
of
is that
a
an
secret.
Easter? That's not an Easter egg.
Yeah.
But do Easter eggs have to allude to other things, I guess, is more the
No,
question?
it has to be a joke or a bonus, right?
So when you parachute off of this thing, you land in the middle of a bunch of 60 elite dragons that just kill you because you're level 60. That might be a joke. You're
That's
just dead.
kinda-
You hit the ground, you survive the fall, and then you die.
I think there's a ton of them in Grand Theft Auto. That's always fun to find all their things. But I don't know. I think they started as like a fun thing, and now it's like, all right, like I could see people at the project management meeting for a game. All right, we need to think of 50 Easter eggs to put in this game, and then we're gonna make an achievement for it if they find them.
And if it's Ubisoft, it's like on top of the towers that they have to climb to unlock the map.
Yeah.
Sir, this is a racing game. I don't care. There has to be towers.
No, yeah, they have to make the jump every. Actually, they did do that. I think with Burnout.
Yeah, they did that.
They did.
It wasn't Burnout. It was the launch title for Xbox One.
The Crew.
Yeah,
they did that in The Crew. Is that Ubisoft?
Yeah, you had to go to radio towers like you have to do in every other thing. Yeah.
No, you're totally right. Yeah. I actually like that game. I have it right here for the audio listeners. I'm holding up a copy of The Crew.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's bad. I just thought it's ridiculous that you have to go to radio towers to unlock the map in a racing game.
Well, the weird part is when you have to drive your car off the tower into the big bale of hay. So
yeah.
It's just like,
go Eagle Vision.
They call it nitrous vision in the game, Eric. Yeah. I don't know.
It's Firebird Vision.
Yeah, nice. Oh, good car reference too. Firebird. That's a car. Nice.
Yeah,
so
my
excited.
dad had one.
Oh, cool. Did he have a leather jacket too?
He did.
Yes, I know demographics of vehicles. That totally works. Car tropes. There's the car tropes. There they are.
And then he sold it and we got an Astro van.
Oh yeah. Is that the one you crashed?
No, I never. I mean, I got into two accidents with the Astro van. Never crashed it. The Buick LeSabre is the one I drove into a tree. That wasn't
your fault though.
Yeah,
we've went through this tons of times. Look through the back episodes. It's just cool enough if you want to hear the LeSabre story. Oh gosh. So what else happened this week for you guys? Anything good? Anything else that blew your mind in the news?
Well, they landed the first SpaceX rocket back on a landing pad.
What? See, why is that important to me? Should we get Rob on the show? Yes.
No,
the answer is yes every time.
But this has nothing. You don't need Rob to explain this one.
I just like him a
lot. Now we have reusable rockets that begin to open up the broader possibility for space flight
commercial space flight. It's making commercial space flight a reality, which is awesome. Also, my coach got one of the electric Fiats, and he's a real big fan of it. And also, if I had a job, I would take him up on this offer. But he got the electric Fiat for he paid $3,000 because he got the orange one, so that was an extra $500 on top of it was going to be $2,500 down, but he paid $3,000 for the orange. And the state of California gives you $2,500, so he was basically making that money back. And then he's only paying like $130 a month to lease it. It's crazy.
And to be quite honest, the Fiat 5, you're talking about the Fiat 500 electric or the Fiat 500e, that is actually the better one to get out of all the 500s you can get, because you really don't want that engine, that multi-air turbo engine that comes with the base car.
He's been talking real, because he lives in the hills, so it's a little hilly. He talks about like like when he drives it up the hill, he's like, the car is like, how much power do you need? Just tell me how much you want. There's no like, he's like, when driving gas, it's like, but here it's like gas down and like pedal down. Just
Well,
like,
that's yeah, because an electric engine has all of its torque at 0 RPMs, and you could just go. You press the pedal, and it's crazy. I drove a Tesla Model S, and it made my BMW feel like a horse and buggy. It's just amazing. It's the future. But that Fiat, actually, you get a lower center of gravity with that Fiat 500e because where the battery packs are located in it, and it's just a really good driving vehicle. All the problems that the regular Fiat 500 has, the electric totally gets rid of them. It's actually a really good buy.
He's trying to convince my buddy Ray to get it, and my buddy Ray works at Facebook, and they have chargers there. So basically, it'll be like. My coach will have to pay because he's going to charge it at home, so it's going to cost him electric bills and whatever. But Ray, because he works at Facebook, will get free charging basically because he's going to charge it at work anyways. So
right.
It's like,
just top it off when you're at home if you need to. But yeah, and like in most cases, people talk about range anxiety for electric cars, but in most cases, people don't really drive more than 100 miles a day.
Like 90, it's 90 miles,
right?
Or something like that, or 120 maybe at max. But
it depends
in the city,
on conditions.
We don't do that. I never do that. Like I can't if something's that far away. That's crazy.
I see it only works in specific conditions though. Like right now, I'm driving nearly 100 miles in my commute every day, so it's just not going to work. And then once it gets cold, because I have an electric Focus at work, and once it gets cold, like in the summer, optimally, it'll do like 100 miles, right, for a full charge. But in the winter, you turn the heat on, you turn the electric seats on, and then just the battery loses capacity in cold weather. You get like 40 miles. You're like, okay, I can't go anywhere anymore.
Yeah, our winters are 10 degrees cooler than our summers.
No, California, and especially the LA area, needs to convert everything into electric because you guys actually have smog. It's not like China bad, but it was noticeable when I was over there. I'm like, what the fuck?
It's gotten better. It's gotten a lot better. Over the years,
for sure, but
because I remember my mom talked about like coming here in the '60s and like it hurt her eyes but it's definitely there is smog, like you notice it like when you're coming out of the mountains into like Sacramento or around here. It's definitely, but it's better here. It's getting clearer.
I could remember it being worse, and it could just been the days I was over there, but I could remember it being worse flying in and out of LAX in 2008 till now. So I wonder if it's just the days I was there and it was bad, or
also
not
everybody has a Prius. Like everybody does.
It's either you're either the Prius guy or you're the Tesla Model S guy or the Model X now.
No, because the Teslas are expensive and you have
no
to be
way,
rich.
dude. There's so many
also,
Teslas by you.
There's a good number, but everybody has a Prius. You don't understand. Everybody has a Prius. Like,
I know. I saw a lot of Prii. But the thing is, like, finally, the Prius owners, you can't just make a blanket statement about Prius owners anymore. You can't, like, you used to be able to be like, oh, those Prius owners, they're this, they're that. But I talked about this on the Smoking Tires show when I was on it. I got coal rolled. Do you guys know what coal rolling is? So like
that's when they put the ice cream out there and they roll it out in front of you to give it.
No, that's cold stone. That's different. Okay. So there's a thing called coal rolling where these guys take these big bro trucks and they edit the engine mapping in it, so you're just you're just putting out giant plumes of black, toxic, cancerous smoke because they're fucking assholes. They don't care about anybody, and they're just idiots. Probably all Trump supporters. And anyway, so you have these coal rollers that do that, and they call it Prius repellent, whatever. I got coal rolled by a Prius, and it was a guy. He rolled down his window in a Prius, and he had this e-cigarette, and he was vaping like a crazy man, and just this huge amount of smoke starts pouring out of the window. I'm like, what the heck is wrong with this dude? And it just like wafts into the million-mile Lexus we're in. And then I realized, I'm like, oh yeah, Priuses are like $7,000 car now. Now everybody can have one, and even really inconsiderate, non-environmental people that blow e-cigarette smoke into the world are having those too.
there's a Toyota dealership not too far from me, and it's just Priuses as far as the eye can see.
Have you ran into any of these e-cigarettes at all?
Yes, yes,
It's
they're all
freaking
over.
terrible. They're terrible. All these vape shops and e-cigarettes. Like
Yeah.
this is nationwide, right?
Yeah, of course it is.
This is terrible. What? Like, isn't it worse than smoking? Do we have any facts
Well,
on this?
They
I
say
gotta-
it's better because it's less carcinogens. I mean, it's not. It's probably not better. It's
This
it's
is-
like I don't know.
Actually, it's around here. I notice less e-cigarettes and more. What is it? Hookah pens.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, like, I guess I'm grouping all those hookah pens and e-cigarettes into the same thing. The whole like vape movement, right?
Yeah, I mean, I respect it in that building a vaporizer is like a Jedi building a lightsaber. Like there are all these parts, and you like decide which parts you want to build, like one, like a specific one
To be
for
the
you.
biggest asshole.
Yeah, there's so I walk by the vape shops, and it is like looking at like a disassembled lightsabers and putting them together. But also, fuck those guys, because
It's just how inconsiderate. Like, okay, fine, you're addicted to nicotine. I'm addicted to sugar. Whatever. We all got our vices. But I'm not sitting there like blowing chunks of sugar in
you're
your
like,
face.
No, dog, it's cotton candy. No. You know?
Yeah, sorry, man. Oh, cotton candy flavored cotton candy. I'm throwing on you right now. I haven't actually, like, people say they smell good or whatever. I haven't seen a good argument for these things. I think they're terrible. If you have one, you should consider not doing it around me.
Yo, Joe, let me ask you though. You vape, bro?
Hold on. Why don't you jump in my giant lifted Chevy Silverado and we could double coal roll people.
I got a sketch about that where it's like, sir, you can't smoke here. No, it's vape.
It's
Like,
vape. It's cool.
It's like, well, sir, it's regardless. It's you can't just no. It cuts out on the carcinogen, so it's totally healthy.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
sir,
like a Nutrigrain. It's like a
don't-
Nutrigrain bar for your lungs.
Sir, I don't care about that. Yo, you want me to send you this Vice article about it? No, I don't. Did you know the American Medicals, the head of the American Medical Center said that vaping is healthier for you than traditional cigarettes? Again, that doesn't matter to me, sir. Yo,
But it smells
yo,
like blueberries, bro.
Let me ask you though, you vape, bro?
I don't like it. Maybe it's just because I'm not addicted to whatever is in it. I'm sure whatever's in those e-cigarettes and vapes and all this stuff is like 100 times more addictive than any nicotine.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah.
Let's stop doing the show.
Is it time? Oh my gosh! The whole hour flew by so quick. Fine, let's stop. Sounds like you're vaping right now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like so. Anyways,
Just
no, it's vape, bro. I guess we'll stop talking about all this horse shit and start plugging each other.
Yeah.
You can always follow me on Twitter at Duncor, DUNCOR. Or you can, this Saturday is the start of, over at on the Twitch channel for Saving Throw, is our Saturday game of Dungeon World, hosted by my buddy Sean, and with me and a couple of other really awesome people, is starting up this Saturday. It'll be Saturday at I believe 12:30 Pacific Daylight Time at twitch.tv/savingthrowshow, or you can find the information at savingthrowshow.com. You can like it on Facebook and follow the Twitters and whatnot, and watch me and some really funny people play some tabletop RPGs.
I'm really excited. Before we have a game tonight, we always try to watch at least like one episode of somebody playing it, just to kind of brief people on it. So I hope we can turn to you for some of these things.
Yeah.
Awesome. If you want to follow me, you can follow me on Twitter, first and foremost. My Twitter handle is JoeQCar. Go check me out on Twitter. Sometimes I say things. Also, I want to plug a video that was put on by my good friends over on the Drive Network. It's kind of like they say, "Are you suffering from loss? Ask your doctor about Eclipse." And it's a car commercial for a Mitsubishi Eclipse, but it's set to the tone of a drug commercial, a modern day like drug commercial. So check it out. It's pretty funny, and yeah, you'll get it. So go check that out. We'll link it on the site in the show notes at justcoolenough.com. Ike, what do you got to plug?
I got nothing.
Dude, I mean, like, me and Eric totally dominated the conversation, and you don't have anything to plug. What about the bands and stuff, or is there a charity or something?
Nope, no, I see. That's what I hold on to my plugs for the begging for money plugs. So I might as well just. I don't have any right now, so I'm gonna hold on to them. You hold on to my plugs.
Why don't you just ask for money from the listeners for our stuff then?
No, I don't do that. They should give to us because they want to, not because we're begging them. I hate that friggin' NPR. We're like, we only need 30 callers left this hour. You could be one of the 30. That's all we need to hear from in order to get reach our goal.
PJ, and Smith will donate $5,000 if you donate $5,000 in your car.
Dollar for dollar match. That's all you have to do, and you get one of these empty glass bottles I got right here.
Yeah.
If you watch Saving Throw, if you watch our Saving Throw, you can donate and things happen. I don't know how the donations work in the different shows. They have a lot of shows at Saving Throw, so check them all out. But ours, Sean talked about maybe being like. The listeners will have there'll be stretch goals at $20, like this monster shows up or something like that at $40.
Oh, see, that's a cool monetization strategy though.
That we the players won't know, but the dungeon master will. Apparently, how he wants to do it. So it's like at this weird thing happens, but we don't see it coming.
I want to do that in our show. Like if somebody donates $50 this episode. We throw a bucket of frogs on Eric's head, just something that I don't want to be.
I mean, a bucket of frogs will cost us more than $50. I guarantee you.
I didn't say it was a smart investment.
And I didn't say you should keep listening to this show. So thank you guys so much for listening. And until next week, have a wonderful weekend and fuck off.
Hey, wait, we didn't plug Alpha Geek or Shout Engine, the two networks that help us do our show every week.
Well, we just did.
Okay.
Well, if you're not taking your sweet fucking time, wasting all this blah, 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 blah.
Cut.